Let's think about a discussion, a constructive discussion. It's a challenging exercise, but also an enriching one. Above all, it's an exercise that, in order to be done properly and not just talk nonsense, requires a certain level of preparation. It's easy then to understand what the key elements of the learning event of discussion are: analysis and in-depth exploration of content, effective and assertive communication, evaluation of arguments and different points of view. In short, a comprehensive activity. And if we add that when well-managed discussion activities lead to the creation of an environment open to dialogue, we have the full list of benefits. And it is precisely this combination of elements that an instructor should aim for when incorporating a discussion into their course. But how can they best support it? Once again, let's try to follow step by step the stages for designing a discussion activity, identifying the possible supporting actions that the instructor can implement. In the first phase, the instructor defines the rules of the game, essentially the equivalent of a classroom agreement. To start the process effectively, it's important that the instructor clearly communicates the guidelines to be followed to all the nodes in the network involved. These can also be just brief guidelines, possibly co-constructed with the students, but the important thing is that everyone is informed. For example, about the rules of participation, about activities execution, as well as their purpose, whether and how the activities will affect assessment, and so on. The second phase corresponds to the preparation of the discussion. This phase can be broken down into two main areas: supporting the students and anticipating the lines of development. As we mentioned, preparation for the discussion in terms of content is essential for the success of the activity. It is therefore in the teacher's own interest that students carry out preparatory work. How can this be supported? The teacher can, for example, guide the elaboration of the materials presented in class, propose questions to be answered, or present scenarios that highlight the issues to be addressed. Alternatively, the teacher can ask students to come to the discussion with a short document presenting evidence and data supporting a problem, or to compile a list of questions related to a specific topic they would like to discuss. This work can also have an impact on students' motivation, reducing some of the potential barriers to active participation. Participants, in fact, are more likely to contribute to the discussion if they feel prepared. In this preparatory phase, there is also the aspect of defining the focus of the discussion. In what sense? To prevent students from going off topic and losing sight of the activity's objective, it is helpful for the teacher to also consider what the possible lines of development of the discussion might be, so they can guide the students if and when needed with targeted questions or points for reflection. We then move on to the third phase, which is the actual discussion activity. Once the teacher has initiated the discussion, it is important that they monitor and facilitate the progress of the activity, and, as with any teaching practice, be prepared for unexpected situations with alternatives to reinvigorate or refocus the discussion. In other words, putting the planning work into action, both in terms of the lines of development and specific activities to intersperse throughout the discussion. To support the teacher, all classroom dimensions are always available. For example, one can start with discussions and paired comparisons on a specific topic, and then continue with small group discussions where the results are shared collectively. Alternatively, the activity can begin with a brainstorming session involving the whole class, followed by a deeper exploration of the topics in small groups. Fourth and final phase, the conclusion. Even in this learning event, the conclusion should be seen as a valuable moment to take stock and put into perspective what has emerged from the discussion. It is therefore helpful for the teacher to plan a moment explicitly dedicated to summarizing and mapping out what has come up, and why not, perhaps even integrating it with a specific digital space. Examples of activities? One idea could be a reflective questionnaire or a 1-minute paper, that is, jotting down answers in 60 seconds to simple questions about some of the points that came up. Let's also consider how the final wrap-up can be extremely useful for the teacher as well. The conclusions drawn from the discussion activity can in fact provide valuable feedback from the students. By doing so, the teacher can also initiate a process of metacognition and informal assessment regarding the strengths and areas for improvement of the activity.